Yes. Well, good morning, good evening. What it do? How are you? Hootie hoo. Happy Sunday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, dollar Avant. That's still double O. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion Bay, aka the Bitch Queen, aka the People's Coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, you guys, we're rising. It's day 25 of this 100-day challenge. And on today, um, I had a slide I wanted to share, and I'm not done with the slide yet because it's like I can't time my brilliance. I can't time my downloads. Sometimes it just be just pop in my head, and then you know what I mean. I got to figure it out. So I'm gonna try to get this download ready for y'all. Hold on, somebody telling me that the Zoom is not working for them. So let me see what I can do. Uh Yeah, I can't time my brilliance, y'all. So we're gonna make this slide together in real time. And it's gonna help you put all the pieces of what I've been saying together. Like it's a system. It's a 5-star system. Okay, all of this is designed to work together. It just builds on itself. It's a fractal system. It's a download. The whole entrepreneur's roadmap. It's a single system. I didn't. What do you want? What do you want from me? I didn't do it. It is a download. So I'm giving you the secret sauce. Okay, of what it takes and how we create something from nothing. I'm literally telling you how we do that. I don't use the word manifest for several reasons, which we'll talk about, but I just want you guys to know that I'm not just talking to hear myself talk. I'm not just saying like, oh, why don't you try this? This sounds good. You know, the one thing that worked for me that one time, and now I come and teach it to you or whatever. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Who has time to be sitting around listening to somebody's opinion? You need something that's going to work. You need something that's going to listen every time. I don't care what's going on. It's going to work. That's what you need. And in these days and times, we can't play these types of games. We cannot be just listening to whoever sounds good at the moment. It's not 1985. It's not 2005. We don't have time to be entertained. Okay, we don't have time. So I'm giving you science. I'm telling you how your human technology works. Your brain, you are an interface between the unseen realm and the seen realm. Everything that's in your head is just as real as what's going on out here. It's just an interface. Just like your computer, your phone. What's on your phone? What is that? Where is that? Touch that. You can't, but your phone can with the interface. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm telling you how it works. Why does no one teach this? They don't want you to know. Be quite honest with you. But it's in our old ancient texts. It's in the meditative practices. It's some of what we tap into with yoga. It's in the Bible. There's neuroscience in the Bible. It's in there. See, because here's the thing. This is what I love. This is what I love about being a human, despite the fact, I mean, you chose to be here at this time, right? You know that you chose this timeline or whatever, like this moment in time when it's like, oh, the world is ending, like low key. But I mean, that's because we can get out. Like there's a way out. And so I talk about the great escape all the time. So I talk about let's hurry up and get our stuff together so we can get out the way. Like we can make moves right now. We chose to be here. There's the greatest wealth transfer in human history happening right now. We could tap in, and they've given us all the answers. They think you're stupid. They believe that you. I need to be streaming on Substack. I've been planning to snap on today, but I'm snapping. They believe that you know these peasants, serfs. Over the centuries, the words have changed. Slaves. Uh, uh, Whatever you want to call it, they don't think that you are worthy to be on their level to even think about this. So they have to put the information out there because we live in a universe where we have consent. So just because we don't know something, if we don't seek the knowledge, we're giving our consent to whatever's going on. If your heart is telling you something's not right, I don't have to live like this. This is not my birthright. There's more for me. And you just sit there and you accept it anyway. You're giving your consent to your current reality. And that's all they need to keep. They will run this thing in the ground. They are showing you they will, they don't care. They don't give a bleep. They're outside with it. Okay. The KKK is back. All of that, it's back. Civil rights, a bubble. The bubble has burst. Like, we're back. The whole world, remember how, like in the 90s, y'all remember when, if you're old enough to remember that in the 80s and 90s, I guess it was the 90s, people were like boycotting South Africa. It's like apartheid is bad, and we stopped by, divest from South Africa. Like, it was like a global thing. Y'all remember that? Do you know we're back to that? Do you know people are like, we're not coming to the World Cup. We're not sending our team. Remember how we boycotted Russia in the 1980 Olympics? We were like, we're not coming or whatever. People like are saying that about the United States. Like, it's the most popular hashtag in the world right now is boycott USA. That's what's going on right now. They're imploding the system intentionally. However, we can be all right because this technology is ancient. This here, what I'm talking about right here, this is going to work for you wherever you have to go. If you have to move to another city, to another state, to another country, if you have to start over with just your neighbor down the street, of course, your tools will be different, right? That would be like if you live in the Stone Age versus 1865 versus 1965 versus today, you have different tools at your disposal. But the science and the principles of what I'm talking about how our brain works and how trust is built, this works no matter where you are, no matter what time period you're in. So the fact that you chose to be here right now, and the fact that they have built a whole little subset of tools to help you do this from your phone for free, instantaneously, and reach people on the other side of the planet, it's your time to get wealthy. It's your time to tap into that version of yourself that has all things that you say you want and need. It's your time. And so if somebody would slow down and take said time to break it down, so we know what it is to do besides just hope and believe, and just go to a place or just wait for somebody to give us a grant check and all of this BS. We're being programmed again. Like, we get excited. We're like, okay, we can do it. And we step out and then they give us bad information again. So I'm here to eliminate that. I'm here to close the gap between you and the greatest, highest version of yourself using these tools at the intersection of neuroscience and psychology and metaphysics and all the things and pop culture. I mean, I'm just here to have a real conversation with people who can relate to what I'm talking about. So you can feel like you need to feel, so you can receive the information, step to your new identity, and get on out the way. That's what I'm here to do. So we're still trying to define the dollhouse, but I like that. It's what I came up with so far. Let's go with that. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into it. I wanted to share two things. I have a whole lesson I'm going to talk to you about, like how to set up your email and all of that. But this is really important to me. Like, if we don't think about what's going on out here and we just kind of show up like still waiting on the world to change, waiting on somebody to give us an opportunity, waiting on Shaq's nephew and all this kind of stuff, that what's happening out here is going to run us over. It's not because you couldn't change your life. It's not because you're helpless. It's because we're not moving. You got to move. You got to move the speed of money. You got to move. The cloud of glory, they used to say in church. The cloud of glory is moving. I need you to move with the cloud. I need you to get tapped in out here. We don't have time. We don't have time to be acting like we used to act. We got to move differently. So there's a principle that's been in my head all morning. I'm going to try to see if I can articulate it, and then we're going to get into the emails and stuff. And then I'm going to, I guess, make this slide with you guys to show you how it all fits together. Because it's one system. Okay, so I'm trying to find my notes. I wrote it down this morning. Thinking about y'all. Let me see. Can I find it? Let us see. Yep. Okay. Did y'all watch The Matrix? Do y'all watch those kinds of films? It took me a while to watch it. I finally watched it a couple years back. And everybody's like, oh my God, like, da-da-da. Like, let's start with the fact that a Black lady wrote it. Not what I think, what I heard. I know the people that were in her house with all these stacks of papers, stacks of journals just filled up. She hand wrote The Matrix. But anyway, This is, one of the great metaphors of, what this system is that we live in, and all of that, right? And I think it's so important that we learn how to do this thing at the intersection or the interface between the seen and the unseen. Like, it's a real thing. There's a world, and how they're kind of telling us what's going on versus the energy that controls all of that. And us being able to navigate that is what keeps us out of the grips of this craziness that's happening out here. It's crazy. But somebody said, I don't know, it's an older Black person, they were very unbothered. I'm not talking about these people who are fake resting. These people out here talking about, oh, well, we told them. Like, why is that still something relevant to say? We told them what was going to happen if they, the 92% were right. Well, we're always right. I mean, okay, we were right. Okay, fine. But do you see what's going on out here? Does anybody paying attention? If we don't do something different, you don't think it's going to come to your city? You think it's just going to be everywhere except where you are? That's what you think? Okay, that is not really a plan, but okay. But this was somebody, not the civil rights age people who are, I guess, in their 60s now, a little bit older, getting in their 70s. The youngest of them are in their 70s, and the leaders of that are in their late 80s, actually. But anyway, I'm not talking about those people who are just like, oh, these Republicans, when the next election comes, I can't believe Hakeem Jeffries is not doing a better job up there. Like, we just need some leadership. Who's going to be the next one, because they think that an election is going to fix this, as if 1930s Germany is not a thing that happened. Like, it happened. Like, the whole world is like, hey, hey, like anyway, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about a very old soul, and even like old in age and older in soul. Okay, ancient, timeless soul. And what they said to me, it was a very long conversation, but one thing they said to me was, you know what, this is karma. I was like, oh, whose karma is it? Hold on. And obviously she's talking about, well, didn't nobody tell them to come and steal nobody's land and do all of this since 1492? I mean, that's what y'all want to do. And now that it started to be obvious that these people ain't studying y'all. Michael Jackson told y'all, but now they shoot people in the face, and now y'all got something to say. Now we upset. She was like, and she was very like, she meant that thing. So I'm not going to get into the politics of that. We'll do that on another channel at another time, another live. But what I wanted to talk about today is this truth. We don't have to wait for our reality to change. I'm talking about you, your business bank account, how many clients you have, how much money you're making, and all of that. We are in charge of this process. Like, if you for the women in the audience, if you get pregnant, you're holding the baby, as long as everything is okay in terms of your body and the system, it's going to do what it does. And and about 9 months go through, and and here's the baby. And what's the first thing that's going to happen? The water's going to break. There's a separation between, you can't see what's going on. I know it's a baby in there, but I can't see it. And now the baby's here. We can see it here. Hear the sounds. The baby. It's the baby. It's here in the 3D, right? And there's a gap between when you first got pregnant and when the baby comes. And that mechanism is built into the technology that is your womb, right? And the womb does its thing. Like I say, let the universe cook. It does what it does, and here comes the baby. If you put some food in the oven, somebody already engineered the oven. Somebody already made it work like it works. And just like a thermostat in your house, you set it to this amount, and it's going to put that much heat in there, and it's going to keep it at that temperature so it doesn't burn up your food. It's not too cold. It's going to do what it do, and it's going to combine. The chemistry is going to happen in the ingredients that you put in there, and it's going to cook the food. You don't have to like cook the food. You're preparing the food. You put it in the oven. It's going to cook, right? That's what happens in anything that we want to create, including, this is what I want y'all to do when it comes to having goals and stuff like that. Because I don't really do goal setting. I don't do vision boards. There's a very specific reason why. But I think it's important for us to use that as a tool just to get where we're trying to go and be out. because I said we're detached from the outcome. I'm not attached to like one, I need this one person to work with me. I need this one client to be my client. I need this one, whatever the case is. No, that's not what we're doing. Because you don't know, not, I want this one man. That's my husband. Like, you don't know. Like, so we're not attaching to specific outcomes. That's not what I want you guys to do. But goal setting is helpful in one sense, and that is this. If I can get you to channel all your energy, right? Like the vision board thing, like all of that could be helpful in one sense, even a business plan, only to this degree. You kind of map out or just get closer to centered on what it is that you actually want. Can you define? And that's what I'm asking y'all to do right now as we go through this philosophical conversation. Is going to be very practical by the time we get to the end. Define what it is that you want. What kind of business are you actually trying to build? Like, what are we doing here? Say, okay, so for me, I know I want to help 100 families to design a business. To design the life that they really imagined, using their business as a vehicle to help them get there. I'm very committed to that. I know that once I do that first 100, it's going to turn to 1,000, and I'm just going to keep going. I believe that the best business model framework for me to do that, based on my teaching style, based on how I show up, based on the way people get value, is not a set it and forget it. It's not like, here's a cute thing and I used it one time and now I'm good. This is an actual reprogramming of how we've been taught to think about ourselves and our work and capitalism and all of that. So you have to sit in the energy with me. There's no like one time and then I'm good. So that's not my business model. So I'm now that I figured that out, and I have, little pockets of people here and there, and people are pulling up on my Substack and all type of stuff is going on. Now I have to create a path for them to go to. Ultimately, what I would love for everybody to do is to just do a little monthly membership, $37. What? I think that's reasonable. That's less than the juicy crab. And it's going to change your whole life and your mindset and get you your money together, stuff like that. So you can access everything that I'm doing. Would not have to be like, okay, did I pay for that? Do I have access to that? Like, like, so once I get the school organized, all the archive teaching will be in there. You already know you're in there because you're a monthly member. Like, it makes sense to me. So that's now what I'm doing. So the kind of business that I want, if this were my only business, my goal would be 300 people in a monthly membership. That in terms of like goals, like, okay, a monthly income goal or something like that. Like, obviously I'm going to blow past that. Obviously that's not even my objective, but I'm trying to give you an example. Like, think about what exactly do you want? And in it's really outsizing that, but in line with that, I want the way that I teach, the things that I teach, I believe every single person should have access to it. I don't believe every single person is going to implement it, but I want all melanated people, people that look like me, to have access to these tools so they're not stuck. They're not fooled by programming, people telling them, bad information from 1985 and trying to still go to school and get a job in 2026 is crazy work. But there are people out here doing it. It's 222, y'all. I want to be a repository, a bank, a vault, dare I say a vault of knowledge that people can come to because I talk like them. I look like them. There's something that they're like, what is she talking about? And they come in and they discover this thing that can unlock them. If they never see me again, get you a little book, go outside. So I want to be on media platforms. I want to release books and do all that so that people can find that and get unlocked. Because I remember the books that I read when I was a teenager, and like little things that I would find, little videos that I've seen, people who might have 10 views on YouTube, but they said something that was so profound that really shaped me. And I want to, that's part of the legacy that I want to leave, because I know that all this knowledge is not for me, child. First of all, I already did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just following spirit. And then when I did it, not only did I do it, but I reverse engineer. I changed my family tree, but now I was able to reverse engineer it in a way that I can, and I have the gift of teaching. Like, I can actually gift it to other people. That's wild. So I know that's not for me. So I have to fulfill that. I have to just be outside and just be a beacon to let people know you're not stuck. You have no limits. It's all in your head. Let me help you get it together. Here's some information. Here. Because nobody else is teaching it, and the people that know it are not great teachers. So I'm in a very unique space. So I want to achieve that and all what comes with that. So if I'm going to be outside for real and I'm going to have a media platform and I'm going to be New York Times best-selling author and all this other stuff, there's a lot of how I show up in the world that's going to come with that. But I've already been doing that in my work, Saving the World's Water. By the way, we just got another horrible headline. The world is now experiencing water bankruptcy. This is a new term. Same people that have been talking, I've been quoting the United Nations for all these years about how we, by 2030, is going to be 40% greater demand for clean water than there is supply on this planet for the first time in human history. I've been saying it my entire career. Now they got a new term. They call it water bankruptcy. The world is entering water bankruptcy. So in addition to this 150, I've changed it, $1 million fund that I'm raising for the Opportunity Foundation so we can actually literally go out here, get on the trade desk, have that money flipping in perpetuity, just like all these kings and queens and everybody else does. We're going to do the same thing so we never run out of money, so we can come in with our capes and come in with our Ghostbuster suits and come in with our lab coats and go anywhere in the world where they're having water issues. And I'm going to have a team on the ground and we're going to fix it and make sure people have clean water, period. That's it. That's all. That's what I'm doing. I have the ability to do that. I know how to talk. I know how to get it done. And when all these nations, they're mad at the United States, guess what? I already got friends all the way around the world, so I can get this done from anywhere in the world. So I'm not, I will never be deterred from that. Now the love of my life is also in water. He's the water king. I'm the water queen. Like, what are we talking about? We got the Indigenous Water Network. We're outside. So when I say have a vision for your life, I'm talking about all of that, like theoretically and things that you can practically, put a number around, right? Do you have goals for your business? The kind of life you want to live, the kind of lifestyle, where you're trying to go? What are you trying to do? What is the reason behind it, right? I want a business so that, right? So if I were going to monetize this work and not just give it away, gift it like I've been doing for years, the only reason would be in this scenario that I'm giving you guys, if I was trying to hit a certain income goal, to support our lifestyle and stuff, because we're already fine. But let's say I needed to do that. So I already calculated, it's like, okay, 300 people in the monthly thing and boom, 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 we're done. We're good. So, and I could do that just by talking the same way I already do every day. I don't have to like go anywhere and do all that other stuff. So then I broke that down into goals. I said, okay, so in order for me to reach enough people so they know who I am, they know the value, I got to have my offers much better organized. Because my brain is like the universe. We're all the way outside and and I see it. It's like, I got to bring it in. So I need my goals, my offers, organized. So I hired a coach so that she can help me take all of my brilliance and put it in order. You know how somebody else outside of you can see it better than you? So she's doing that. She's also going to help me with the public speaking thing, because that's going to be another key pillar that I need to activate this year. So organize very clear, concrete offers that don't change. Get on stages and as a public speaker, getting paid 15, on the low end, probably 20,000 on the low end and up per speech, where I popularize my own ideas and bring more people into this universe that I'm building, right? All of the support mechanisms that I need to make content, whether I'm here or whether I'm traveling, because my travel schedule is about to get nuts after mid-February. But none of this that I do once I start working and going, sharing with an audience, I have to be able to still do this every single day. So there's a lot of support that comes with that. Some of the technical equipment that I need and some just like people that I need to hire, basically. And so let's call those my 3 goals, right? So I want to have, a system that I could travel with, where I could do content from anywhere. I want to, and finishing, the whole book launch plan, right? Get the book out, get the content infrastructure, start the engine on public speaking, and organize all of my thought leadership into a very clear kind of offer infrastructure. So those will be considered goals, right? So these are things that I'm talking about that I want to do this year. And I'm saying for you, get a clear vision, what it is that you want, what kind of business you want, break it down into goals, right? Decades, years, months, weeks, days, right? Then here's the part that nobody talks about. Because most people just put that on a vision board and, one day I'm going to be on, such and such a show and all this kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying once you're clear on what it is you want and you can kind of articulate it to the point where it's like enough of a definition around it where you can see the energetic signature or the outline of the direction that we're going. You need coordinates. Okay, that's an important word we're going to keep coming back to. You need some coordinates, the energy, where are we going with this thing? Once you get that, I'm going to do this right now. Y'all should be taking some notes. So I'm going to pull out a Google Doc. I believe in a good Google Doc, even though y'all need to go in your Google settings and go in there and turn on smart. It's called smart something. And make sure that they're not reading your all your emails and selling it to the AI people, because that's what they just announced that they're going to be doing as of January 20th. But anyway, okay, docs. New Google Doc. I got 4 goals. 1, organized, offer infrastructure in the dollhouse. It's really the trust pathway that we're going to be talking about today is what that means for me. 2, public speaking. 3 is, what did I say? Content engine. I'm going to be everywhere. I'm doing the Gary Vee thing. I'm doing it. I told him in 2020 that I was going to, 21. In 2021 that I was going to do it, and it took me 4 years. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm doing it. There's another good book y'all can read called Day Trading Attention. That's his newest book. Really, really good. It'll kick you in the butt in terms of social media. Stop giving yourself an excuse. We need to be outside. And then my 4th goal for this exercise, I'm just telling all my business. I'm streaming, y'all. My 4th goal is, what did I say? Oh, the book launch. So are you guys participating? Are you writing things down? Are you doing it? Okay. All right. So once you have the goal, now here it gets down to every single day. Like I told you, the big 5, there's certain things, activities that you need to do every single day. Likewise, you can think of this as things to add on top of that, right? So it's like every day you wake up, you brush your teeth, you make up your bed, you get dressed, you eat food, you drink water. Every day. Like what? I mean, that's what we do every day. So the big 5, some version of that needs to be happening every day, because you told me you wanted to launch a business. I mean, these are the basic things that need to happen for that to occur. But then on top of that, based on the season that you're in, based on, there's certain things that you had to do while you were pregnant that you don't have to do now that the child is here. There's certain things that you have to do, when you have hair down to your back, to your butt, versus when you cut it short. There's certain things that you have to do when it's wintertime versus, when it's warm outside. When you're in school versus during summer break. Seasons. So likewise, when you have a air quote goal, and I use that term very loosely, I don't believe in goal setting in the traditional sense, but this is how we do it. Okay. You have a goal, something that you're working towards. There are things that you're going to be doing pretty consistently while you're working on that thing that you're not going to have to do once you've, achieved that goal or gotten out of that season, right? So get a clear picture of what kind of life you're trying to build, what you're trying to do with yourself, and, down to what kind of business does that look like, what kind of business model, is right for me. Like, get that in your head and come up with like those 3 or 4 goals that you are aiming towards in line with those areas that are important to you, right? Then for each one, look at the 3 like big levers that you need to pull to really make an impact or to really move you forward or propel you in those goals. So, example, if I'm saying I'm getting everything in the dollhouse completely organized, my trust pathways built from start to finish, so that this can just be an automated thing, very, very easy for me to run every day since I don't have time because I'm saving the world's water. So, first thing I would need to do is, which I've done a pretty good job of, but organize and archive all of my like big, I guess, teaching concepts, right? So basically, every step on the roadmap, every stop on the roadmap has a whole set of content that goes with it. And I need to teach them, organize them. I need videos on it, whatever that is. I need to, because I've taught it all before. I just wasn't intentionally capturing the footage. But I've been doing it so long. And so the FAQs, like everything that people have asked me over the years, I need to put it all into one complete, what I call the vault, right? But so before I can get it into a vault, I have to organize it, archive it, teach it, get it out of my head and out of all my notes everywhere, right? So organize, that's a really big thing that I need to be making progress towards every day. Number two, refining, I would say, refining my offer and offers and how like all these platforms connect together, if that makes sense. Because I know that some people are going to prefer, which I'm going to talk to you guys about today, people are going to prefer receiving the information on different platforms, and it's totally up to them. And so on one hand, you could be like, well, people just need to catch me where they catch me, and I'm not changing. But on the other hand, my objective, remember, as we started with the end game, and my objective is to literally reach as many Black people as humanly possible. So particularly Black folks who are indoctrinated by this American system. So I need to be everywhere. So I need to refine and make sure that it makes sense how all these platforms connect. So if you go for Substack, you know what you're getting over there. If you go into YouTube, you know what you're getting over there. Like making it super, super clear how they all work together. It's something I need to be working on every day because I have a whole list, my recipe cards, I have a whole list of things that I need to do in line with perfecting how I'm showing up on all those different platforms. So I need to work on that every day. Number three, a lever that I need to pull to be moving with intention towards this big goal that I've set for myself. I need to, and this is something I mentioned to you guys as well, I need to, let's say, just call it study and organize notes from all of my teachers. So I got people, some of them I paid for courses, some of them I paid for access and private masterminds. Some people I don't know, over the years, I know them and they literally have just given me their playbooks. Some people, they worked with me on aquagenuity and I learned little nuances and stuff that people don't teach about some of the topics that I teach, but mostly the biggest untapped vault that I have that I want to share with you guys is like how to show up on social and how to monetize. Like if you have an idea for a business, how to use all these tools and platforms that we have access to right now to make money. Like we should be making money every day, literally every day. If it was 1985, I wouldn't be saying that. But right now, the internet being 24/7, the stock market is about to be 24/7. They're putting on the blockchain. Like we can make money all day, every day. There are people on the other side of the world who need the exposure, the knowledge, the education, the things that we've gotten in the United States. I don't care what they say. They don't have it over there. So if you could take this and digitize it, you could be making money from all parts of the world, all time of day and night. And having people, supporting your work and your mission and stuff like that from all over the world. So I need to study and organize those notes. So, and I need to work on that every day. But this is for a season, because if I say I'm going to organize and archive all of my big teaching concepts, that's a finite task, right? It's not going to take me forever to do that. It's not like something I have to do every day for the rest of my life and all of eternity. If I get a new idea, I just add it to that, right? But the big existing ones, it has a start date and an end date. I might not know how long it's going to take, but I know that if I lock into a season of doing this work, it's going to eventually get done. And that's the approach that you want to take. I'm no longer sitting around every day like, man, I really want the dollhouse to be this organized, automated model of this, and the third, because I'm working towards it every day. So once you pull these levers, define these 3 levers for all of your major goals. Are y'all doing it? Like public speaking. I know enough about it to know that I don't feel like it's not something that I'm going to sit here and teach myself. I'm not doing that because I got too much to do. So guess what I'm doing? I hired a coach. So we start. She gave me some pre-work. I got to get that done before we get started in before we get started in February, the end of February, and so forth and so on. So I need you guys to take these 3 levers from each one of your goals, and now let that be your focus every day. Every single day. This is what you're doing. This is what you're working on. Moving yourself forward towards what you said you wanted, what you said, the direction you said you want to go in. Like, just do it. Because why not? Why wouldn't we do it? Why would we hold back? Does that make sense? So now if you do that, you're now locking yourself into what I call the pending phase. Think about your business, your anything you want that you can't see right now it's like when you make a transaction or you make a deposit in your bank. Before it gets there and before it's posted, it says pending. This is an unseen realm. Like, stuff is happening, and it definitely affects your ability to, get that money out. Or if you go and swipe your card all weekend, you go shopping and stuff, you go look in there on Monday, it's going to say pending. All those transactions are going to be pending. So while things are pending, while you're trying to create something that you've never had before, never done before, never seen before, that doesn't mean it's not real. It's there already, but it's pending. So you can't get trapped and tripped up with the what's posted, what I can see. I'm looking out here and I see, certain things maybe are aligning or not aligning. It doesn't matter. What you need to focus on is what's pending. So the activities that we do every day, starting with your thoughts, your emotions, your ability to calm down your nervous system, not be in a state of anxiety, because your brain is just going to do what it does. Your brain is looking for something that's aligned with what you said you wanted and aligned with your frequency, and it's going to keep you safe. Your emotions, all of that is just designed to keep you safe. That's what it's going to do. So you being able or willing to regulate that to create enough space, enough capacity to step into this new thing that you never had before, right? Like you're pregnant, like everything, your organs got to move out the way, like it's a lot going on in there. You got to create capacity and then hold these coordinated activities long enough to get this outcome that you said you wanted. So that means you can't be focused on, I have 2 followers on my thing, my social page right now. You can't be focused on, I only have one client. You can't be focused on, it's $87 in your business bank account or whatever. Because that's just what's posted. That's showing you from past actions. That's what that is. That's not showing you what's in the oven right now. So we got to focus on what's happening in the quantum realm where you can't see it, your thoughts, your emotions, your identity, the seat of your soul, the thing that is resting on your belief system. You only go as far as your beliefs. We try to raise that bar. And then a set of coordinated activities that flow from that. Because if I can get you to lock in and doing these things and pulling these levers, let's say every single day, it's gonna get different. So that's why I brought up the Matrix. When Neo he sees the real world for the first time, Morpheus, breaks it down for him. He realizes that he's been living in the Matrix his whole life. He thought that was reality, the buildings, the people, the rules, all the things. He thought that was real. Then Morpheus comes and he's like, okay, you ready? You want to see? You sure? You want to see? Okay. And he shows him the truth. And everything he thought was real is actually just a code, it's digital projections, it's simulation. Okay. But the real reality is happening in a whole nother place, in a realm that he wasn't thinking about. Right? So that's what I'm trying to get y'all to do. Stop looking at business bank accounts, stop looking at certifications and who you met at the networking event and your social media analytics and thinking that that's your reality. It's not. It's just what has posted. What's really creating your results in your business is in the quantum field. And so that's what we talk about over here in the dollhouse. I'm trying to get you to focus on the inputs that if you do these things, you're going to make all the money you want to make. And you can't see it. It's a seed. It's like, I don't know how this is working, but I just need you to know and believe that this is how it works. Because if I can get you to calm down and show up like this every day, you will build something that's going to continue to pay you dividends, revenues, and all of that, and go on and on and on. Like when I talk about network effects, and you have people that you don't even know in rooms you've never been in who are saying your name and asking for you and talking about you, telling your story and all of that, that's when it's posted. Everything that I say before that is when it's pending. Like Nike, they done posted. Amazon, they could stop right now, and people still gonna be looking for them, checking for them, trying to buy something, trying to give them money. Da 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 da. It's already posted. Early stage businesses, which is who I love to teach, everything you're in the part where it's pending. You got to put some inputs in, and then it's pending. Okay, so y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So post it, it's settled, it's done. We know it's there, it's official, boom, it's on your statement. You're gonna get it on your bank statement in the month. Like, this is a thing. It's a fact. Everybody can point to it, touch it. The IRS is like, yep. Everybody like, okay, it's a thing. It's posted. Things that are pending, only you know. Actually, only you know. Because you've initiated it, but it's not, so there are things that are going on in rooms that you're not in, that you don't influence, in realms that you can't access. The bank has a back end system, has a clearinghouse, there's networks, there's all kind of stuff going on. Like when I was in Switzerland and I'm swiping my card and going here and doing, having a little international card and stuff like that. It's all type of clearing going from US to Swiss and all across. They're doing all type of stuff. They don't have nothing to do with me. I just want to go to the store, get my stuff, and go ahead back to the hotel. Like, things are happening that you don't have access to that need to be in motion for you to get the thing that you said that you wanted. But it's still real, right? When you book a ticket to get on a plane, all type of stuff is moving. They got to take the plane and move it from somewhere else, and he got to fly. They got to get the crew, and then all the people. They got to do the checks, and then he's got to land, and then he comes, and then bloop, bloop, it's on your app. Hey, your plane is at the gate. So once you bought that ticket, you spent that money. You make a deposit in the system. All this activity is now happening, so that the meal that you chose and the special whatever is there when you get there. But it's not posted until it shows up in front of you. So you can't be looking at what you don't have and what you don't see and what other people doing and all this kind of stuff in your business every day. You've got to create a habit and a cocoon where you're locked in to the activities, the coordinated activities that are going to get you to the point where you need to be, taking another step, another step, another step every single day. Does that make sense? These are the things I wish somebody had told me when I was, younger. I would have known, could have done so many things so much faster. So if that makes sense, you want to tap into the quantum thoughts, emotions, identity, energetic frequency that you're broadcasting, and the set of activities that you need to be taking every single day to get the business that you said that you wanted. So if you're looking at your bank account, you only got $500. Okay, that's fine, but that's not your reality. That's just reality of result that was created months or even weeks ago. Okay, so what you're creating right now is what I want you to learn how to focus on, and that's going to eventually get you a different reality. The thing I love about talking like this is because I know the people that are listening are sent here because it's non-linear. Just like consciousness, like I'm sitting in my room right now, but me being able to talk like this and share this, maybe being able to put it on a video and have somebody watch it 6 months from now. Anytime that I'm able to stream or to talk or to do whatever, even if I'm just sitting and meditating, when I go into meditation, I get the same impact. It's non-local. And that's a term from physics. What it means is you're not confined to your physical body, your physical location, what you physically could put your hand on right now. You are attached in the energetic frequency to anything and everything that you need to get whatever it is that you want. Okay. So you're already connected. It's called quantum entanglement. You're already connected to it. So there's no rules of time, space. Don't tell me what's not possible and all this kind of stuff. Again, we're not attaching to specific outcomes, this specific car, this specific job, this specific whatever. But the energy, it's already here now. There's no separation between you and that. It's just about, are you going to get on the right frequency or not? So as long as let's say when I create content, right? It doesn't matter if there's however many people in the audience at the time that I'm doing it. When I put my energetic signature on it from a place of genuine care, clarity, value, I'm emitting a frequency into the field. And it's going to go instantly. And it's now made available to everybody whose consciousness is attuned to be able to access that. I'm gonna tell you why this matters. This is the slide that I was trying to get ready for y'all. I don't think we're gonna get to the emails today, but that's okay. You got to understand this first. Let me share this slide with you. Yes, this is what I want to share with you guys. There are people out here walking around right now that are already thinking, they're talking, they're moving, they're having experiences, they are going through their life, doing whatever they're doing, and you don't know them. You've never met them, but those are your future clients, your future customers, and your future partners. Everybody that you're going to encounter as you continue down the roadmap of your business, right? So inertia or entropy is designed to make you stop before you get there. You will keep seeing or not seeing what you think you would want to see or expect to see, and you'll just stop on the path. And the process, however, requires you to keep going when you can't see, while it's still in the oven, while you're still pregnant. You can't see what's happening in the womb of the work, but it's still happening. But if you stop the process before you get there, you'll never see the ending. So here's my slide. It's still not complete, but I'm gonna give y'all what we got so far. Because everything that I'm teaching, the reason why I teach the way I do is because it's the 7 C's of social capital. It's how things go from the realm where I don't see anything to now I see, now I can, physically touch it. So here we go. Let me share this. If y'all got feedback, feel free. You're not gonna interrupt my flow. I know exactly what I'm saying today. I got it in my mind's eye right now.
I got a little feedback.
Go ahead.
This is very unique. You telling us to think about the end. This is, I mean, it sounds simple. I've been thinking about just making money or looking successful or feeling like I actually have a real business. I hadn't even considered what is the actual end? What am I doing? And when do I actually even know that I am successful? And I love that you mentioned The Matrix because that is one of my favorite movies that my daughter's father had to teach me how to watch. And because I wasn't into sci-fi at the time, you know, I was like an Anne of Green Gables type of, you know, I need to see Titanic, I need love stories. And he taught me how to watch that. And The Matrix, when you mention it in this, we are actually living in the social media world. We're actually living in a world where they really want us to buy into the Matrix as the real world. And that's why people like my mom or other people like, oh, okay, you did a live. How many people were on? Are you making any money? It's like this instant success. And then you feel away when you don't have that, when there's somebody else that has quote unquote, what's that thing called again? They went viral as if that happened off of their first video or as if that happened overnight. And this is what they constantly keep selling us, winners and losers. And those that can do, those that can't teach. There's always this thing that they tell us. So this is fascinating that you're basically saying, can you be realistic? Can you get yourself together and get out the clouds and actually do the work and stop thinking there's an easy way to get to this place because everybody else would have been there. So I'm liking this thought pattern because it makes me less sensitive to people that have not done what I'm doing, like you told us, but then telling me that I'm doing it wrong, you know? So
yeah, it's powerful, y'all. This is how you live free, but you still know that you are locked into something that's real. This is a level of certainty. It goes beyond, like I said, 3D logic. It goes beyond what your eyes and ears would tell you is possible. It's it supersedes that. This is the only energy that supersedes that. It's the certainty of knowing that if I'm locked in doing the inner work according to universal law, it's gonna be what I see every time. This is like the physics of faith or something. I gotta call it something. But
I appreciate that. And I'm not gonna lie, doll. When you first, like last year or something, when you first started connecting everything to nature, I'm like, okay, that's cute. She's just, you know, she's just trying to make, you know, this is that, this is fall. And I was like, but the more you do it, I realized this is second nature for you to actually. You're such a yogi, like a guru. You see things as they are. You're like, can you please look at nature? Just take a look at what nature is doing and figure out how this actually goes. You're like, just see what you see with your eyes. Why do you think you are not a part of nature? You're not a part of the way everything else works. Like you're just saying, look, just look at what everything else is doing, and then you'll see where you fit in and your success fits into this equation. And it's like it's been seeping in, but you're like you're so profound with it. It's like, oh my God, I'm like, yeah, like I said, you're more of a yogi and a guru than I've ever seen anybody do on a very people level. So yeah, this is good stuff.
Thank you for sharing that perspective. That means a lot to me. Um, so you guys check it out. You've heard me teach the 7 C's of social capital. I want to put my little people at the top. I don't know what happened to my people. I'm trying to get them right now. But when we have an idea that comes into our head, and we're like, okay, this is what I think I want to do. Like when I said, what are your goals? What's the end game, right? Just some thought of some glimpse. Again, what is an idea? It is you have in your head a picture of a reality that doesn't exist out here in the 3D. That's what an idea is. It's like when they have the light bulb and illumination, it's information being sent to you hey, this is actually possible. If you put this with this and do it like this, da, 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 you could have this. And you're like, oh, it's an idea. Oh, that's why it's shocking. It's like turn on a bright light in a dark room. You're like, oh, we see something that we didn't see before. It's illumination. That's why let there be light was the first thing he said in creation. It's all that. It's all that. Okay. So you got this idea, concept, and I'm saying let's put some language around this. Not what they immediately do is take your power away. When you walk into an entrepreneurship program, you walk into, some mystical place and they're trying to be super deep and they talk about manifestation, and then first thing they want to do is vision board. What they try to do is get you to give away your power. Because if you write it down, nothing wrong with writing it down, or you define this vision or this goal, what it is that you have for yourself. Because usually it comes in the crown chakra, you got the idea, okay, cool. Now you're thinking about it, you're seeing it, okay, I can see it, I see what it's gonna be. Da, 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 da. You come up with all these details, in church they say write the vision, make it plain, you do all this. So that's all the same energy that I'm addressing. But if you stop there, what you do is you just collapse and drop down into hope energy, which is a very low frequency. And you're just like, well, and then we fill in all of this stuff that we say that's not real. It's like, well, you say I'm believing, but are you really? Because if you were, there'll be action behind it. You say if it's for me, it'll happen. And come on, what does that mean? Yeah, I hope that it happens one day. What you're saying is I don't believe it's gonna happen. Or I'm saying I still believe that there's a gap between me and that thing happening. So it's dangerous because over time you start to fade away and you start to feel bad, and maybe I'm not worthy, maybe it'll never happen. Like you get your whole life on this negative trajectory. Versus if you um, learn how to take that concept, you have a vision, okay, I got some clear concept of what it might be like, as best as you can describe it or define it, knowing that you don't know enough to know what that actually is. Okay, knowing that when I'm 16 years old and I'm 18 and I'm 22 and I'm at Harvard, there was no way for me to know that I would create aquagenuity. There was no like on my vision board, I'm going to have a company that's going to invent the world's technology, first technology to tell what's in your water, and by doing so, I'll have 37 countries ask me to come and I will be like, you can't, like, how would I have known that? There's no way. But I'm on the path. And that's what I'm trying to explain. That's what it feels like. So you can make all the vision boards and have all the business plans you want, but just know that that's not what it actually is. You don't know what it actually is yet. You're just trying to put enough of a frame around it, give some kind of language to it, because words have energy. Words are going to help you to define the coordinates of where your energy needs to be focused, because your brain is a supercomputer. You could do anything. You need to bring it in. We got to clarify where we're headed towards. So if you're like, oh, I think I want to be an athlete, or I think I want to be an actress, I think I want to be a model, I think I want to be this, I think I want to start a business like this. You don't know. You might pivot 100 times. You don't know what it's going to turn into. But you given it enough shape to say, I know I'm meant for something great. I know I want to help people. Okay, we got to give it a little bit more shape. And your intuition is meeting you at the point of your vision at your third, so you think this is the idea, you think it's what you want to do, and you kind of start moving in that direction and start speaking like that, right? Then it has to come down to your heart chakra. But going back to my diagram here, that's the concept, right? So your worldview, when it comes to a business, an idea, we're not following our passion. We're looking at our position in relationship to people who we have proximity to, whose problem we are uniquely positioned to help them solve. You're looking for like your best fit along that. Like there's something that you see in the world, and imagine that there's just people up there at the top. So that's the world as we know it is out there. People are going out living their best lives, and when you have a concept, when you lock your consciousness into an idea of what you think you want to do, whatever your business is. A lot of people have this problem. I don't know why anybody's never solved this problem like this. I believe that humans should not be the sensors alerting us to water quality problems. We need an app for that. We need a way to know what's in this water. Da, 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 da. That's my worldview. Now, by me locking in on that worldview, I have energetically put myself at the same coordinates. You know how if you're walking down the street, there's 8 billion people in the world. So do you know the statistical probability that because the world is huge, right? So the statistical probability of all of the different things that had to happen over the course of your entire lifetime to bring you and another person to the same exact point on earth at the same time, to the point where you bump into each other, like at the airport or at the store, you mind your business. Do you know how statistically, the impossibility of that is, you can't calculate that. But in business and creating anything from nothing, actually, when you set your coordinates like this, you set your consciousness, this is what I'm doing, this is my worldview, this is my idea. Immediately, you have just set yourself the same coordinates that every other person in the world that has had that same thought or idea. The world shouldn't be like this. I wish there was another way for us to do this. Man, if somebody could just solve this problem. Da, 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 da. That's why the roadmap is written like it's written. Because we meet the people at the point of their problem. It's a coordinate. So now energetically, consciously, I'm there. Am I being too deep? Y'all with me so far? Tell me if you with me, because I can't see the chat. She got the Yodi thing. I love that. That's hilarious. Okay. So
I just want to say one thing that you've said before is thinking of everything as an experiment. And I love mysteries and Legos and all the puzzle games. And I was thinking to myself this morning that I feel like this is what I needed, something that, like, nothing's linear, as you've been saying. So it's more of a putting the pieces together and experimenting to find what fits. Exactly. As you go. So that takes some of the emotion out for me. But it takes out the anxiety for me. Because I'm just trying things. I'm seeing what people are responding to, what they need. And I'm excited because I'm creating things. Like it's a mix of science and being creative. So I love it. And it fuels me, and to see, that it's, I might have one subscriber on my Substack, but I'm thinking of ways to create some content that people will enjoy. And I have followers on Instagram, even though there's nothing there right now, because I just created the new one. But it's encouraging, and like you said, making the list of the things that are important to us to do regularly. It's just motivating.
That's beautiful. I like that. So that helped me. See, now when I'm always like, take the emotion out of it, now I have a very clear through line. If we think of things this way, and so it takes this time for me to explain this way, so people can then detach from the emotion and yes, do the thing. So I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm fully detached, because I am excited because I'm making it something that matters to me.
Yeah, the negative emotion, so like you said, the anxiety.
Yes, exactly. The anxiety and the voice that says, "Are you sure?" Like, or all the different what ifs.
What if it doesn't work?
Right, exactly. What if this? What if that? It's like, okay, shut up.
First of all, what do you mean? Just do it. It's not gonna always work because it's an experiment. Like, it's fine.
Right.
We're fine.
Right.
I love that. Okay, that's very helpful to me. See, that's what I'm saying. We're doing this together, y'all. Okay, so here are my people I've been waiting on, trying to find my people this whole time. I want my little cutout people. Because they're out there in the world. And then when you lock in to a frequency, an idea, a worldview, you are automatically locking into where some people are already at energetically. And that's something that we need to understand. So they haven't found their way to your, like you said, your Substack yet, or your Instagram yet, but we gonna work on that, right? But we got to know that they're there first. So boom, they go to people. They're out in the world, and you get a concept. At the time you get that concept, you have locked into a consciousness. There's a certain consciousness that comes with that. Okay. It's your worldviews, what you stand for, is what you're about, and that's going to change over time. Like I've taught this for students a lot, and it's difficult because traditional educational or educational approaches to entrepreneurship, they try to make them lock into an idea and write a business plan. And I'm like, you don't know that. First of all, these kids don't even have enough instinct to know what a good idea could be. They're just like, well, it could be, we could have an ice cream cone that prevents melting. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but I don't know if that's a great business or not. I'm not sure. It depends on if there are people who would actually pay for this. Maybe we love the joy of eating a messy ice cream cone. People have had all kinds of ideas that don't do well as businesses because it it doesn't meet people where they are, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's so important, y'all. It's such a critical shift in thinking. Go ahead, Tracy.
So this is awesome. So many things. One is you're also edging on the concept that there's this new thing going around where they're saying asking a child what they want to be when they grow up is literally one of the worst questions you could ask, because that's assuming that there's only one thing that they can be. Mm-hmm. And my daughter gave a speech in school just recently and telling the kids, in the engineer program, don't go chasing don't try to decide what you want to be right now. Have fun in college and kind of discover it. And that's kind of what I've been teaching her. But it's this concept, just like you're saying, it's like this feeling that you have to know. And I don't know about other people, but I know I'm not the best drawer. So if I were to go to an entrepreneurship meeting and they asked me to draw my vision board, even cut out images, because you're never going to find one that really speaks to what you want. Mm-hmm. It does take away from, because when you see it on paper, well, doesn't look that grand. It's not that special, but in your heart, it lives and it palpitates in a very beautiful way. So putting it on paper or drawing it does kind of take something away from it. So yeah, this concept is profound for where we're going with how to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, man. And it's like, because nobody knows that when you write something down, you're taking a photograph of the spirit. So if it's not fully formed yet, that's like taking a picture of the baby and it's 2 days old. Like, that's not the baby. Like, it doesn't look like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a representation. But if now you start building towards what the baby looks like at 2 days old, at the size of a fig, everything you build is gonna be wrong, because that's not. It's still information. Like, what does a cake look like before? You can't put icing on a cake, and it hasn't cooked fully in the oven yet. It's the same. It's the exact same. So that was a great example. I hadn't thought of it that way.
It's like this concept of baby. It's like I use this a lot with my mom too, but I think it sounds cakey. I don't have all the language for, like, you give a lot of examples for nature. If it was just one, I think it would come off like, okay, that's whatever. But I tell her the concept, like, she's like, oh, are you making any money? I was like, well, a baby in the tummy, it's like people celebrate it, people pick out clothes, they have a room, they've already named it on some level, and it's not even there. And they're telling other people, oh my goodness, I have a baby. Then why can't she see this concept of me and my business? So I'll tell her that, but I think it doesn't connect. It just sounds like whatever. Mm-hmm. But I also I think it's Eckhart Tolle that says in The Power of Now, I believe I've mentioned this, where he said, women, we're more able to be conscious or become fully enlightened because we give birth to the unmanifested. Mm-hmm. And the unmanifested is that baby in our womb. Mm-hmm. So this is something else that we can think about in our business. But you're right, it's people don't like to connect everything. It just sounds like whatever when you look at it, but it makes sense.
But capitalism did that to us too, child, because they told us to just, like I said, be employees and be consumers. You go to work, you clock, check, hit the clock, you leave, you get a check. Like it's 1-to-1, super linear. You go to store, I need this pack of whatever. Here's my $20. Give me my stuff. Like we don't know where the food comes from. We don't grow anything. Like we're so detached from the process of creation, and they want that for us because now not only are we not in community anymore, people talking about because they don't understand history, and that's why I got to be outside because my people are going to get run over talking about, yeah, bring segregation back, we don't mind, we were stronger when we had it, which is, I mean, okay, we were, but you don't want that smoke. You don't want a world where they feel like they can go and do whatever they want to do to Black people again, like they were doing back in the day. No, you don't want that. No, we're not cheering that. But so not only are we not in community, and I don't know why they think we're just going to automatically jump into community again if they shut everything down, if they play in our face. We're not prepared. Like we don't trust one another. But the other problem with that is we don't we don't know how to grow anything or create anything from scratch ourselves. Literally anything. We barely can cook our own food anymore. And so that makes us completely and totally 100% dependent on their system, which is fine. Theoretically, if you had a nice benevolent king who was taking care of all of his, people, like Monaco or something, like they pay for your healthcare and they pay for your house and they pay for your cable bill and they pay for everything, and you just walk around outside and you chilling or whatever, cool. But if you're dependent on a system that literally doesn't care if you live or die, doesn't care if you have medical coverage or not, doesn't care about your First Amendment, Bill of Rights, none of your rights, no kind of rights, human rights. They're just like whatever is expedient for them and their mission. It's so dangerous for us to be detached from not knowing where things come from and how to create things, right? So this is what I'm teaching. It's not just, I mean, we're going to make some money, but it's really how we're going to survive in the face of what's coming and how to keep our nervous system regulated and not panic, when it's like, well, I don't see anything, but we don't panic because we understand the system. It's just like if you were like, I want to get pregnant, and then you got pregnant. Let's say your belly didn't grow. If your belly didn't grow and the baby didn't kick, how would you know you were pregnant? So some of the work that I end up telling you guys to do is also designed to help you see some signals. So it's not just I know it's working. I'm hoping. I believe. It's not that. It's like you start to see signs along the way and evidence because your brain is designed to search for evidence. That okay, what are we doing? Okay, where's that? Okay, and your brain is like, just point me in the direction or whatever. And then if it doesn't see it, that's why your mind has to be renewed, reprogrammed, so that when you don't see it, your mind is still like, no, we're going this way, we're doing the thing, and then you'll start. The evidence comes from the unseen realm as well. So the first thing you'll get is actually like a sense of knowing, a certainty. Not like, man, I hope this works. You'll shift. You'll start to feel different. It's like, oh yeah, it's happening. I don't know. It don't matter who. Okay, you don't believe me? Okay, fine. It's kind of how I be talking crazy. I like, yeah, okay. So when this New York Times best-selling thing happens, it's like, and you're like, what are we talking about? Because I know. I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you what I think, what I hope. I'm telling you what I know. And from that certainty, then intuition will start speaking. And then you'll make a phone call or you'll get a phone call or you'll have a meeting. And it's just like, I'm telling you, I know. People are crying in my business meetings. Don't tell me what I could do is not. These people, it's a thing. You know what I mean? And so by the time the revenue shows it or the investment dollars, 2 years later, I mean, well, anybody can see that once it gets to that point. But the knowing right now, it's very personal right now. It's very intimate. And so that does make it more difficult when we're dealing with family members or spouses or folks who are around us. That's why some of these, programs, for sure, some of them we need to get out of because they're constantly looking for a metric and a number and a revenue and this and what do you do? Hold on. Like I'm not on that part yet. Just give me a second. Hold on. So anytime you can separate yourself from environments that are constantly looking for the external when you know you're not on that part yet, Obviously we want to try to do that. And then, when we're dealing with family members and folks who might not understand, it's an exercise. It really just an exercise in making sure that you stay locked in and knowing what you know, even before you start to show. Like, you're pregnant before you're showing, because you'll get to a point where there'll be some signs that are more visible to somebody outside of you. um but before that, it's not like that's why they be saying don't tell nobody you're pregnant. They even say that, don't tell somebody you're pregnant till I don't know when, the second trimester or something, I don't know, some weeks in. It's partly for that reason, I guess. I don't know, what people talk you out of it, I don't know. But yeah, this is important to just, like you said, be aware that just because they can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. So
I think
go ahead.
my mom always told me, you don't tell people things because of the energy. You don't want people putting their bad thoughts and energy towards you, basically, because you never know, what people's intentions are. Yep. So that could be one reason.
That's definitely true. And also, their energy has just like you're expanding your capacity. When you put your energy out here, then somebody else's energy comes into it, is actually affecting it. It's like doing that. It's like somebody else put their hand on you. I'm driving the car and you're like, well, actually we're gonna go this way. Like, it matters. um and it can put a constraint on, like, if they have a negative intention towards you, it can put a constraint on your energy doing what it's supposed to do in the energetic field. It's like weeds in your field, if you will. If you're planting seeds and now somebody else comes, well, we'll see about that. Well, everybody else has tried that, they couldn't work for them. Like, yeah, right, you said you're gonna do that, that was 6 months ago. Like, like, it's putting seeds in your field that you don't need right there. You got to have this is sacred. This is like, we're not putting a bunch of extra stuff in the oven, in the cocoon. Like, it has to be away, out the way. You can't just be poking in there like, well, I don't see nothing. Like, it's a very sacred thing. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual act, and nobody talks about it like this. Nobody treats it like this, and then we wonder why we don't get results. Like, you gotta really protect the work of the womb. Yeah. So if you have a concept base, it's a location. There are coordinates. There are other people whose consciousness are at the same place. Okay, boom. So now, based on what I believe and what I've got in my head so far, I'm going to create content based on my hypothesis. I believe that this is the problem, and this is what, most people tried this, but actually it's this. I've been out here doing it like this, but what I've learned and noticed is that it's actually this. And I believe that I can give people a different outcome, a better outcome, a faster outcome, something that doesn't exist if I do it this way. This is your hypothesis. And then everything that you do and talk about, everything we talked about yesterday, I guess we have to do it again tomorrow, and we'll do the email tomorrow. But everything you come up with in terms of content, strategy, all these words that we use, it's a hypothesis. So your 5-star pitch, your first version of that, it's going to change, y'all. It's okay. Your website, the language of what's on there and what you think your business is, it's going to change over time. That's okay. Your one pager and your this and your that. This is just your first go round at these pieces of communication that have captured, taken an early photograph, like a sonogram, okay, of what you saw in your worldview, your concept. That's the best way to say that. So it's just your first draft, your first go round to try to give some shape or some language to this thing that you have in your head, so that you can begin to now go to step 3 and engage other people in conversation about it. You got to give it some kind of language, some kind of name, some kind of something, so that you can go talk to people about it and start a giving and receiving feedback loop about it. All right. So we just have enough of a hypothesis. That's why we don't get into ego. That's why we don't spend tens of thousands of dollars on content and branding at this step. It's too soon. The child is a sonogram. Like, hold on. Just wait a minute. We're not ready yet. So enough shape to now go and talk to people and have a conversation about it. You want to do that in real life as well as digitally. So that's what we've been talking about the last few weeks of this 100-day challenge. Being very intentional. Who are the people? Now that I've locked in my consciousness, I have enough of a draft of how I want to talk about this work. Your 5-star pitch, and then that just shows up on your website, simple landing page, very, very simple, super high level. Okay. Intuition. Who are the people in my neighborhood? Who are the people or the types of people that will be into what I'm talking about? Because these are coordinates now. So there are people who are already on the same wave with you energetically. They're already thinking about what you're thinking about. They're wishing that this problem could be solved, struggling with the other solutions, whatever. Until you can make a list. And if you don't have enough people, now you need to go out and build more of a network. You need to be out talking to your, like you said, alumni group. You need to be talking to people that you went to school with. You need to be talking to people you used to work with. You need to be outside until you get enough humans that you have connected with in a way where they would have this conversation with you. You make a list. That's your circle of 50, your circle of trust. And now that's my first kind of breathing. That's my breathing in my business. This is breathing. It's giving and receiving. So every day, every week, I need to be doing something that's going to expand my circle. More people coming into this conversation that I'm hosting. That's step 3 on the roadmap. Conversations about the problem. More new people coming in there. And then from those people, I'm able to specifically reach out and engage. Hey, I know you've been here for a while. I know that this has been helpful. I want to invite you to take another step with me. I want to invite you to get on a call with me. I want to invite you to take, join my program, or invite you to da-da-da-da-da. And we use the Afro method to get there. So if they are not a fit, it's fine, because we're not selling them anything. We really want to capture all of that language. That's what this conversation's part is about. We've been talking about that for weeks now. So in real life, we're having real conversations. I'll need at least 50 people in real life on a list that I could pick up a phone, text, send a pigeon, and actually reach this person in real life. And then, digitally, you want to have a growing community of people that are doing the same thing. And, showing up on TikTok, showing up on Instagram, Facebook, showing up on YouTube, LinkedIn, all of the tools that we're talking about, treating it as sacred work, because we need our tribe. This is what's going to start the engine. So we got to treat it as such, and we have to be intentional about it. And like I said, if we develop this as a new skill, like we actually should have a skill of being able to go out and talk to a human being, and they actually want to continue the conversation and lean in more with us. If we can't do that, you see, your business stops right here. The flow stops right here. But once you get good at that, it's like learning how to swim or learning how to surf or whatever. Once you get good at that skill, now we can layer on the next one, the next one, the next one. So very clear concept and worldview, your very basic early content that we sharpen as best we can. Because some of you guys are, when you pitch, and I'll be like, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't be like falling on the floor and standing on my head. It's okay. It's just early. That just means we got to keep refining and refining and refining. Probably need to have more conversations with more humans, because after a while, it's going to be like Brittany can tell y'all. She probably is like, Dollars lost her mind. I made a 30-minute reaction video to her new 5-star pitch. But she's been doing this work for like however many years. She's had so many conversations, and she had some light bulb moments. She was like, oh, they respond to this when I say it like this, and she knows now what kind of business she wants to run, and how she wants to structure the flow when people first meet her versus, all of that. She knows where she wants the company to go. And so it's easier now to be able to flow in conversation in that way, to have a 5-star pitch that's doing all of that. So it's okay. We just got to honor where we are in the process. So I'm showing you guys how all of these pieces fit together. I don't ever want it to feel like what I'm teaching is disjointed. This 100-day challenge, I'm literally teaching you everything you need to go from 0 to 10K or more in your business. And it all fits together. It all sits on top of each other. So if you skip, it's like math. If you don't know how to do addition, I can't teach you multiplication, right? This process is the same way. So it looks like the spiral is going down, but really, I guess it should be going up. But anyway, that's the world at the top. Based on your life experiences and all of that, you came up with the worldview, and you're meeting people at a certain set of coordinates in the energetic field. You make your first attempt at this how you're going to talk to people. Word is a bucket container for this energy. That's what I want to put there. That can hold this energy. Okay, that's it. And that's your 5-star pitch. That's your first landing page and all of that. It's gonna change, and that's fine. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. A super simple offer. Again, you don't know what to sell to people yet. You just got here now. You don't know if that's even what they want, but you gotta start somewhere. So you make a hypothesis about what it is and you know what you think you're gonna price it, and that's it. Just your first initial out the gate. That's what I mean by content. So people have used that word differently, but this is what I mean. So I hope that part is clear. Then from there, you would go into the conversations. This is where you're going to do your Afro method. You're going to do, but the early version of the Afro method, because you're not even going to be like super professional or proficient at that at this stage. It's just like get out there, talk to humans, and I'm listening for this language. How do they talk about it? What are the aspirations? What are the frustrations? You got your 6 questions that we talked about. You have your all these tools that we've been working on where you can get in there, and you have somewhere to put them right now, but it's kind of a little messy. You know, it's like, okay, let me get your information. You might not have it super organized and automated yet. Just like I'm saying, I got to go sit here and organize the dollhouse now that I know what this is for the dollhouse. Right now, I got to go back and tweak it and refine it and do it again. And then we get to the cadence. So if the conversations are the breath, the in and out, the cadence is the heartbeat. This is where you show up now. You're planting your flag. I'm showing up consistently. I'm going live on these days. I'm doing this on this time. My email is going out like this. I'm going to post on these days. I'm going to show up consistently so that people know where to find you. Now there's a heartbeat. Now they know what to look for you and what to expect from you. Now you got to breathe, and your heart has to beat. You're not alive if you're not breathing and you don't have a heartbeat. Y'all see, we're always looking for the baby's heartbeat. We got the sonogram. We need to know, and the babies, we know everything is okay by listening to the heartbeat. Okay, so we're in motion with our conversations, and we have the cadence, which is the heartbeat. When and how are you showing up? And I'm telling you tools, I'm telling you frameworks, I'm telling you ways to think about content so that you don't fall back into anxiety around not knowing what to post, not knowing how to show up on these different platforms, because they're all a little bit different. We're going to continue to go down this path, and I'm going to teach as specifically as I can how to show up, how to do a hook, what that looks like on LinkedIn versus YouTube versus, whatever. So that you can have some really concrete ideas. Most of what we do on YouTube anyway is about packaging. So you got to have the hook, the whatever you call it, the thumbnail, and whatever, the title, right? If you don't have those elements right, they never get into the video to go into the long form. So like a lot of what I'm doing now, I'm going live because some people prefer, I'm still at the preference part. Some people prefer to be on Substack versus WhatsApp. Some people have told me they prefer to watch me live on YouTube when I'm doing this as opposed to being on Zoom for whatever reason, however that works for them. So guess what? I'm just going live, but there's no packaging, there's no thumbnail, there's no like title and the hook thing. None of that is there yet. So as I do my cadence, anytime you do something consistently, right, I'm going to get better and better and better. You're developing that skill. So we really got to go deep, do a deep dive on how to show up on these platforms and make sure that we're taking that feedback loop. What are we hearing from people? And as we broadcast our brilliance over here, we get better and better and better, not just posting just to post. Okay. Now, this is like a line in the sand, because if we get that right, that leads to the credibility where people are saying, man, I really get value out of this. Man, I be looking for your broadcast or you come on live. Man, I just really enjoyed this last video and this thing. You'll have that third party credibility. Other people will start saying stuff about you, not just you. You're not just pushing out this message anymore. Now people are saying it. The energy starts to get transferred at this point. It's a very powerful thing. So now you might start getting written up by blogs, or somebody might start inviting you to be on their podcast or come speak to our group or whatever that is. And the more you do what's happening above this line, the easier it's going to be, and the more of a snowball effect you'll have below this line. So the credibility that comes from other people, seeing your work, writing about you, talking about you, inviting you on their platforms, and confidence. Confidence is people being willing to lend you their social capital. So that's what we think of when we say brand or branding. That's what I mean by confidence. It's what you're known for. Like people used to, the reason why the place that should not be named grew so organically is because people knew that if they invited their friends to that Thursday or Tuesday night, it was going to be a good time. It was going to be amazing. It was going to be impactful. It was going to be life changing. They weren't hoping that it was going to be something cool. They just knew, to the point where they would say, I don't even know what it is. Just, you need to come. They had enough confidence in what I do that they were willing to lend me their social capital. So this is where you get into, somebody wants to tell other people about you. Somebody wants to give you a referral. Somebody wants to become a repeat customer because they know every time it's going to be amazing. That's when they want to put you on these larger platforms and you do a partnership and all of this kind of stuff because you built that confidence, you earned it. And now you can call it a community. And that's when, if you say, hey guys, by the way, on one email out of 10, your 80-20 rule is in full effect, right? You've given all this value, you outside, and you're like, by the way, you guys, I'm doing this thing. I was thinking about based on the feedback, I think we need blah, 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 blah. What do y'all think? If you want to get it, the links up and boop, and sell out. Because you have community. When you speak, they move. So this is how we get there. Now it's real. Now it's real. Now it's in the 3D realm. Now I can say, I'm going to have an event. I'd love to do this, and I'm going to charge $300 for it. And, there are going to be 15 slots available. And, I really want to do this, half day workshop that's going to whatever. And given this specific outcome, you know exactly what that is. You know how to say it. You know what to say. You know what they're looking for. You've done the work. To the point where, like, in that cadence, we're going to get good at how we show up on our social platforms, how we talk to our audience in email and what other forms of community that we host, and how we make our offers. It's going to be crystal clear. And because you have that, then you'll be able to say, okay, 300 people, 15 people. Okay, I just made $4,500 this weekend. I mean, what if you did that 3 weekends out the month? That's a lot of money. I'm thinking that's a lot of money. I mean, maybe that's not a lot of money to y'all. But that would be like amazing. And you will know, or even if you did that once a month, right? Plus you have your other products that are selling, and you do an event once a month or every 2 months or whatever, you could start to predict your income. It's real. It's not just an idea. It's not just, I know it's something. I know I have something. It's a business now. All because we went through this process of creation. All because we started by locking into coordinates where people are already with their consciousness, even though we can't see them right now, because we understand quantum, it's all happening at the quantum level. Then if you keep doing the work of creating, changing the way you talk, expanding that talk into the Afro method, which includes your 5-star pitch, reflecting their language, going all the way through to an offer, right? We're perfecting our offer every time we do that circle and do it again. Because if they like what you're talking about, they don't like the price, or they like what you're talking about, but the name is weird, or they like what you're talking about, but ... We're just filling in that gap. Then we get into a cadence where we have a heartbeat of every time Every time I post, I know I'm gonna reach 20 more people this week. I know now every time I get on a platform or a stage, every 90% of the people in that room, if not 100, are gonna get on a list or whatever. So now all I need to do is go talk to more people. Like, this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for me to now invest and work with my coach, because I know if I do what she says, and she's, we get on these stages and I talk to 1,000 people, I'm gonna have 300 people in the thing before my birthday. Like, done. Goal accomplished. Now we can move on to the next thing. You see what I'm saying? It's not, we don't set goals and then sit in the house and wait for something to happen. We go and we push, pull the lever. And we do it every day. These coordinated activities that line up with the coordinates of where these people are. We know they exist because we locked in with our worldview. We know they're out there. So now we're just building this world for them to come to. When they come, they're going to love it here. How do we know? Because we asked them. We built it just like they want. They're like, oh my God, it's like you're reading my mind. It's like, yep, welcome. And then they're going to love it. They're going to hang out. They're going to do the thing. You're going to get the credibility. They're going to tell everybody, this is amazing, blah, blah, blah. All the confidence. Boom, you got community. Boom. Business problem solved. We can think about something else now. Now we can go get your niece who's having trouble in college. Now we can go start a community organization and a nonprofit and do, whatever else we want to do. Now we can travel around because our business has become predictable. We've cracked the code. You see what I'm saying? And it's become real and tangible, where it started in our head as a concept. So that's all. It all fits together. So the work that we're doing, the little daily activities that we are learning how to do, the skills that we're developing, it's like knife skills. Like, I need you to know how to sprinkle stuff without over salting it. Like, it's the flip of the wrist. You got to get that little skill if you're going to learn how to cook. It's the first thing your mama taught you, probably. How to stir without splashing it all over everything. Like knife skills, like little basic stuff you got to know how to do if you're going to cook. Once you know how to do this stuff, it's cool. It's what? Okay, here's an oven. Get a better oven. Here's this, whatever. Here's a pan. You need a better pan. Here, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the final outcome. And once you get all that together, boom, then you can make these meals all day, every time. It's no question. It's no problem. Like, boom, like we can move on. We can solve world hunger or whatever. So that's why I talk so matter-of-factly, because it's science. It's not like, I hope this works. I'm thinking about it. I really want something different. No, this is how you get it. No. This is how you get it. No, actually, for real. Like, if you wanted a job, if you wanted to get in grad school, this is how you do it. Doesn't matter what you're creating. This is how you do it. I could teach a class on dating with this right here. This is how you do it. So what else y'all want to build? I think we're building generational wealth and businesses right now, but I mean, we can talk about, we don't do marketing. We start movements, and this is how. And if you can move people, you'll never not make money. Okay. That, we can close on that note. So what y'all got? Comments, questions, concerns, challenges, feedback, all the things. What you got?
I'd love to see how you use this to build a relationship. I just want, I believe what you're saying. I'm just trying to see, like, to use it in a different content. How would this same, because this is the chakras I think you're using. How would you use this to build a relationship, like an actual romantic relationship? How does that work the same?
Well, to be honest with you, it does work. I didn't know that this was aligned with the chakras when I got the download. I didn't know that till later. I got this through the lens of physics, and E equals MC squared. It's the same thing. Don't ask me how. It's the same thing. The 7 C's of social capital that you see on the roadmap, M equals C7. Money is these 7 C's. If you do this, you're going to make money. Every time. Money is energy. That E and E equals MC squared stands for energy, by the way. So anyway, this is how energy goes from the unseen to the seen. This is what this is. And so let's say you have a concept. I mean, there's people out here, it's all kind of men walking around. Okay, let's say it that way. You have a concept in your mind of, like, how we make a list, and I don't get too specific. I had somebody had to turn off her live. She was doing so well, and then she was like, She basically done told AI what her man looked like, and he's making a picture of a man that she's never met before, and talking about that's how I'm gonna know it's him, because he gonna look like, girl. Okay, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. So the specifics of what man it is and all that, no. But the things that are non-negotiables for you, right? The things I stand for, this is the kind of person I am, this kind of life that I'm building, this is where I'm headed, I'm not shrinking, da 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 da. Like, you stand on some things in terms of your worldview, what you've been through, what you're gonna tolerate, the kind of, your values, like your whole, all of that. That's what that is. And knowing yourself well enough, because I got people, like I said, some of my dearest friends, they're older, and she's like, I don't want no husband, child. That's not in her heart. That's not what she wants. And that's fine. I know me. You know what I mean? I know kind of person I am. Yep. I'm gonna get married. It's in my thing. It's part of what I am doing, my worldview. And so you gotta be clear on that. And then you have a version of like how you move, how you talk, based on maybe past relationships or whatever. Like, there's some version of, somebody meets you, because so if you have a relationship, that means you're building a life with them, right? So this hypothesis, if you will, you're building whatever your life is like before you have that person in your life. So somebody meets you, what do you do? What's your you can't be like, there can't be the misalignment, like people say, they're asking for a husband, but they're not acting like a wife. If you ever heard anybody say that, like, there has to be some alignment in what you say you want and how you're showing up in the world. That's that early thing, because when you meet this man, y'all might build something totally different. You might end up doing something you didn't know you're going to do. You might be a pastor's wife, and you weren't pastoring a church before, but now you are. You know what I'm saying? So there's a version of your life without this person, but it has to be in alignment with the concept of what you said you wanted as much as possible. It's kind of like the example that I gave you the other day of you got somebody in Ghana, and y'all are supposed to to be wed, right? You've been betrothed to this person, and then you at the house, here in Atlanta, and everybody's like, oh girl, it's Valentine's Day, you can't be sitting in the house yet another year. And you're like, no, he's coming, he's on the way. I don't see nothing, and you need to just come on out here and come with us. And then you go out and just wild and that whole night, but you got a whole man just because he ain't here yet. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be some alignment between the version of our life that we're living right now before this new relationship or whatever comes into it. So that's what that would be. The conversations is like the I don't believe in dating, but whatever version of that is, that's where you're out in the world and you're actually meeting humans. Okay. Who might potentially possibly, he literally is not just going to literally like float through your ceiling. So you have to meet him somewhere. So you need to be outside, right? So what does that look like in a dating context? Like, what types of men would you want to be dating? You probably don't need to go to the strip club if that's not the kind of man you want. You know what I mean? Like, so you're having conversations and putting yourself intentionally in places where these people would be, and knowing the questions to ask. There are some very specific questions that you actually need to ask as you're getting to know somebody, to know if they're a good fit for you or if it's a pass. Like, and don't overlook that. Don't pass the red flags. Don't do it. Just don't do it. How about we just don't do it? You can see the future. You don't have to ruin your life 20 years later. We can get a lot of that information in those conversations. And then a cadence, I think, is so important for women. Maybe I will teach this. This would be a fun workshop. There's a certain structure in your life that, again, is aligned with who you want to be and what you're supposed to be doing, and your purpose for being on the planet, that you should not allow a relationship to come and just completely disrupt that, unless it's an elevation of that, right? So some people don't have any form of structure in their life. They're just kind of floating around, and the relationship comes, and now they get absorbed by the relationship. No, we got to have a cadence. We got to be showing up consistently in a way that is true to who we are, because you want a partner that's going to complement and enhance that, not pull you in whatever direction based on whatever he's on, because you want to increase the probability that your life is going to be great having made this decision to be with this person, versus Well, I did something. I mean, it was somebody. I was with somebody. You know what I mean? So having that structured cadence. And if you get closer to somebody and you now have, you're exploring a relationship, you also need a cadence with them. Like you're going to talk to them on a consistent basis and all the things. You're going to go and see his parents. He's going to go see your family. There's going to be a level of building that's going to feel like a cadence. And you got to see if his rhythms and his approach to life aligns with yours and all of that. It's really important. Like I said, he's meeting your family and all the things. It should be somebody that you trust is close to you should greenlight this person. If everybody around you hates this person, there's something wrong. Either you're not being true to yourself, or they're, in terms of either with him or with them, those people should not be that close to you. You need a different set of friends, which means you need to go back up here and fix some parts of your life, or that's not him. So there should be something outside of you saying that he's amazing and he's great. Like, if I can get into that, the credibility. Leave these ninjas alone. And then confidence. Like, you should be willing to put all of what you are, all of what you represent in the world, and lean it on this man, his word. You got to trust. It's back to your knower. You know what I'm saying? But you trust him enough to put your whole life in his hands, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You're willing and able to have that level of intimacy and trust. Now we riding, we doing this. Now we talking about getting married and where's the wedding and So that's how I would use it for something like that. But it's literally how things go from a concept to, this is my new identity now, which also just happens to align with the 7 chakras. Yes.
Okay. This is good. I love how we're staying on the positive when it comes to the business, because I could also see this is the reason why sometimes we get stuck, is because of old patterns that we reinforce, that we subconsciously start creating the same. Like, how do you say, it's like what you do frequently becomes your frequency.
Right.
So the same thing that you're showing us can work against us. And if that ever does happen, what do you recommend for us to rewrite the book, or just keep following in the direction we want and not try to correct past misalignments?
Well, we do want to correct them, but it does have to do with, I think what you're saying is what we give our focus to, right? We don't spend a lot of time on I need to not do this. It's just, yes, if you start doing what we are supposed to be doing, and we make sure our emotions and our nervous system, minding our teen grits, making sure our emotions, our nervous system on a positive frequency, and we're being true to ourselves, true, what intuition is leading us, what spirit is saying, and being present in the moment. If you do that, it will create an upward spiral versus doing the opposite of that. If we collapse the gap and stay on that path, it'll create the upward spiral that we're looking for. And anything outside of that will create a downward spiral. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for being here. This is fun times, man. I mean, again, who's teaching and why? Why isn't anybody teaching? I don't know, but I'm going to keep doing it. And I appreciate you guys being here and showing up. All the energy, the questions, the feedback. And mostly my objective today was to show you that everything that we do is all connected. It's not just, we learn this now, we learn this now. It literally all builds on top of each other. So I hope that encouraged. Oh man, I gotta talk for 30 more minutes because Desta's here, y'all. Say what's up to Desta. What up, Desta? Hold on. He's been having trouble getting on the Zoom for whatever reason the last couple of days. But everything builds on itself. These are not things that we're learning and doing in isolation. So let's see if somebody can summarize what we did for Desta today. I just broke down how everything gets created, and from a scientific, neuroscience, physics, I don't know, Anybody give some takeaways from today? That would be helpful for me.
Don't skip steps on the roadmap, and everything starts in the crown chakra, and then it starts in your head, and then it goes to your heart. And I'll leave the rest to someone else.
They said I was on my Yoda energy today. Let me see who else. Brittany, did you watch that video yet? Because it's hilarious to me.
Yeah, I watched it. I sent you a message.
I was cracking up after I watched it. But anyway, thank you for inspiring me with that. That was awesome.
Thank you.
For sure. Well, Desta, what's going on? Let me show you what I share in the sharing part today on my slide, so you can know. We're gonna be going over for the next couple days. This is the process of how everything is created. I need a better name for it, but it's really just the 7 C's of social capital. But going from having a concept, when you have a concept, an idea in your head, and you are locked in and you're true to yourself, and you're not doing it out of ego, not doing it out of place of trying to be somebody, when you're doing it out of, I know who I am. I'm clear on the internal channels. And now I'm getting this thought about something I should do or something I should create in the world, in order to ultimately, I'm going to have this end game, this lifestyle that whatever we envision. We talked a lot about how to not do goal setting and vision setting the wrong way. The way people teach it is false. So if you have that channel clear versus people do it the opposite way, it's like, I want to have this big house. I want to have a Mercedes. I want to be famous. I want to have all this popularity. So therefore I want to pursue, a career as a singer or as an NFL player, or I'm going to start a tech startup or whatever. They're going have, do, be instead of be, do, have. So we got to correct that. This requires a lot of honesty and kind of going within. But if we get that right, then our concept, our worldview, the problem that we feel like we can solve out here, the idea that comes in your head is, by definition, when it's not coming out of ego, it is aligned in the quantum field. It has the same coordinates, like a location, as the consciousness of other people that we don't know where they are. They could be on the other side of the world. So from that place, when your idea comes from a pure place, a vision, a download, a calling, I have people say that, right? And it's like, okay, this is what I know I'm supposed to be going this way. Cool. Now our job is to build a world where those people can meet us there. And if we do it in this order without skipping steps, it automatically builds the trust that's required for them to give their consent to pay money. Like that, the universal law of consent is a part of all of this. So like, you don't have to hustle, you don't have to spam or scam people, you don't have to deceive people, you don't have to be out here doing what they do in capitalism. You can show up in authenticity, in a spirit of, from a place of abundance, and people will be drawn to that and want to do business with you. So that concept leads to your first attempt to put words or language around this concept of the world as you see it, so that you now have the basic tools to be able to go and have a conversation with another human. So we want to then be intentional about having those conversations, bringing people into the world and getting that feedback loop going. So the 5-star pitch that we made in the first, hypothesis phase, it expands into the Afro method, where we're able to get their language, perfect our 5-star pitch in our framework, and give an offer that makes people want to work with us. And then we do that intentionally, constantly bringing new people into that world. And then now we build a cadence around it. So based on what I know, based on what people like, how people like to receive from me, I'm showing up on my email at this time. I'm doing this at this time. I'm posting over here at this time. I speak twice a month. I do public speaking. I do this. I do that. We have a heartbeat. So the conversations are the breathing. The cadence is the heartbeat. And then there's a line. Everything that all of that happens below the surface. Everything after this happens where other people can see it. So the credibility, you get third-party testimonials, reviews, you get people writing about you in blogs, you're getting invited to come and speak and be on other people's platforms. That's credibility. They're lending, they're saying yes. It's not just you saying that about yourself anymore, they're saying it now. And then confidence, this is what people call brand, but that's when somebody's willing to lend you their social capital. They know what they're going to get. When they see your name, your brand, your logo, your whatever, it means something to them now. They know that they can recommend somebody to you, they can buy from you again, and they know that they're going to get a good outcome. You've collapsed time at that point because, again, before that, I need to flip this because this would be below, and what I'm saying now would be above where everybody can see it. But anyway, before that, there is based on your word, and there was risk involved because you're saying I can do this. You're saying I can solve this problem. You're saying most people are doing it like this, but if you do it like this, you're going to get a better outcome. But once you get below or above this line, now they're saying it. You're not saying anything. You're at the house. So you're kicking into network effects, which makes it tangible. Now it's real in the 3D realm because you could say, hey, guys, I have an offer. It's $5,000 and I'm going to help, 10 corporations to do this. It's only going to take me 4 days, but I'm going to tell y'all a month and y'all going to pay me $15,000 each. And I just made my money for the year. But before the end of Q1, that's community because now they trust you. Now you got a book. Now they've seen you on stages or whatever. They keep hearing about you from all of their colleagues. So it's like a no-brainer. Of course, we put them in our budget. Make sure you put it. Do you have Desta in the budget? We want to make sure we do the retreat with Desta this year, like whatever that is. Or we want to make sure he comes and speaks for our, keynote this year again. And so they're ahead of time. It's like time traveling. Now they're ahead of time. They're going to write you into their budget before you even did anything. So like Nike, Amazon, all these companies that we think of, all they've done is gotten to the part where it's network effects, where it's real to somebody other than the founder or the founding team because you've done this work. So that's what we talked about today. It was pretty good conversation. They put Yoda in the chat, so that ought to let you know something. They said I was snapping. Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm glad the Zoom worked or however you got here.
It did. I'm glad it worked too. It just kept spinning and spinning, so I had to uninstall, reinstall it, and then it worked.
Yay. Okay. So yes, and these are these coming up on YouTube because at one time they weren't, but I think it's working now.
So the YouTube, I keep getting the notifications for the replays, and they work. The only thing is that they keep saying January 20th, even when they're not.
Okay, I'll work on fixing that. I'm getting organized this week.
But yeah, they come up probably a few hours after you finish.
Okay, very cool. So this one will be fun, but also all of our stuff will be where it's supposed to be in the school, so you can have the good version of the replay as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So thank you for being here. Go ahead, Tracy.
Quick question. Are we allowed to share the link for Zoom with other people, or I just invited someone to the dollhouse, so you should see someone pending. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know how the link for the Zoom went.
These are good questions. I'm working hard to organize that, as I said at the beginning of this today. I love it when people can just sit and listen to me talk, because that's how you know whether this is for you or not. It's not for everybody. So in that sense, I think it would be cool for them to just be able to jump in on Zoom. But also, I know that if people are not used to me and my worldview, and I'm sitting here telling, I don't have time, I'm not going to get in a Zoom and argue with you about all financial capital is not social capital. okay, I've proven this. I've spent hours, nay, years of my life proving this. You know what I mean? So it's weird for me in that way. So I don't know, follow your intuition on that one until by the time I figure it out.
But I think you're right. The Zoom is definitely for the people that have already had an experience with you on WhatsApp or some other fashion. So if I want to share a link with someone, would it be the YouTube? Would it be Substack? What would I share?
You can either invite them to the dollhouse or one of the
which
other.
I've done. Yeah.
I would just invite them there until I figure this out. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
And if people start finding me on YouTube, because like I haven't put all my stuff up, all the videos are there, but they're not up. So if they go there now, they're just gonna see like random, 7 videos that say January 20th live replay, and it's like 2 hours long. It's like, what's going on? You know what I mean? It won't be a curated experience for them just yet till I get organized. So, but if they come to WhatsApp, at least there's a little bit of explanation attached to it.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all do need to, continue to share and stuff. But once I get organized, it will be so easy for y'all to do that. So, send me stuff, thoughts, questions. That was a good one. That was good. I'm gonna go back and listen myself. Yes, go ahead.
I have a question about, because now you are literally outside. What does this feel like? Because as you're asking us to do more social media, and that's going to require also more editing and being on the screens more often, which is for me a challenge. What does it feel like on your end? And are you, well, right now you have a 2:00 scheduled, you have the 6:00 scheduled. Mm-hmm. How can we make this feel right for us? Because there's the speaking to humans, there's the showing up on social, and then, putting it on other channels, and then some editing. How do we make this work with the time that we have, and how are you making it work on your end?
I like that question. Well, there obviously the elephant diet, and I went through that last weekend with you guys. Literally, I can't pull that document up fast enough to show you, but literally every I know what I want my Substack to be. I got the vision. I wrote down some notes. I studied some people. I pulled some things. It's all in my recipe card, right? So now I have a time on my schedule that says Substack. And at that time, I show up and I do whatever's next on my list for Substack. That's for all of my channels, right? So first I got to get my Substack and my YouTube organized and turn back on my LinkedIn and my X, because I was already doing that, right? So that's first. Once that's now it's on a rhythm, everything's organized, like now it's just me showing up every day and I can pass it off to my editor or whatever, then I can fill that gap on my schedule with something else. So you don't have to feel like you need to do every single thing, right away. So that's one answer to that. The other thing is kind of more significant, is to mind your tea and grits, like actually like your life depends on it every day. And here's what I mean, or why I'm saying that. When I started doing this, as y'all know, I've been talking about being outside for a minute, but I was very resistant to it. It's like, I don't want to do it I have my reasons, whatever. But yeah, no, my identity had to shift to the version of me that is actually outside doing this thing. Not like, I know I'm supposed to be doing it, but I don't have to, because I'm creating resistance. So anytime I'm doing that in my thoughts and emotions, that means my actions are not going to align. Or I'm going to say I'm going to do something, but then I'm not going to do it. Or if I do it, just say I did it, I'm not going to actually keep doing it and develop the skill until it goes from crickets to, not crickets, because, in this case, but even if it were crickets, it goes from I'm talking to just myself in the room to there's actual humans that are giving me a signal that they're listening and they're leaning in. Okay, boom. Then you have to go further, because now you can't just say you did it, but now you got to tap in and listen to their feedback on what you're doing. So you're giving this signal out Now you're receiving it back. This is where the breathing part comes in. You're not actually breathing until you're talking to humans, and now you're getting feedback. So we've done that individually. We've done that in real life. This is the same process, but doing it digitally, where we're broadcasting or digitizing our brilliance. You have to be very, very, therefore, to do it with this level, like I'm talking about the way we're, tracking our people, and putting it in the CRM and every single day and all this kind of stuff. It requires a level of intentionality that most of us are just not bringing to our business, because we're still expecting somebody to just find us, discover us, and write us a check, and we're going to get some investor dollars, and then we're going to go figure out how to find a customer. And it's like, no. So the level of intentionality basically means that my entire identity has to shift. So what I just did is still the chakras. Okay. So idea in my head of, okay, I know, I'm going to do this, whatever, serve the people, whatever. And then, you got a vision in your third eye. It's like, okay, I see how it's going to work. I became the doghouse. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. This is what I talk about. All of the knowledge, all of the roadmap, like all of that came, as a part of it. Okay, cool. And then, because you don't know what you don't know, but you know enough to start going. So then you start speaking and talking in that way. It gets down to the throat chakra, and you're doing the things, But then you got to settle some things in your heart. Okay, there's some heart issues, right? Feeling like you can do it, feeling like you matter, feeling like, understanding this process enough to not quit in the middle of it just because it gets weird or it gets hard or nobody around you understands it or whatever. Like, you got to settle all of that. Once it gets past the heart chakra, that's when the actions actually come from. Okay, this is your solar plexus. Like, okay, this is what I'm doing every day. But you don't know what actions to do. You're just all over the place. So I'm giving you like very specific tools and frameworks, and this is what you should be doing each day. So you know what those actions are. You're limiting the infinite possibilities of what you could do with your time every day, and it's now a very specific set of actions. But we're not just doing it to do it and then just collapse on the couch. I'm doing it. I'm looking for signals. I'm looking for feedback. So I'm giving from a place of it. I'm getting better every day. I'm giving. That's your sacral chakra. Okay. Not just doing. I'm giving. I'm putting it, leaving it all on the stage. I'm dropping the mic. When I'm done, it was like, whoa, that was whoa. So people can feel like they want to feel. You got to give them something they could, come on. And then I'll start to receive feedback. Okay. So if I don't get that part going, it's like I didn't breathe life into the thing yet. There's no breath yet. So this, what I'm saying? There's levels to this. And then the intentionality of, okay, I'm really going to do it. So where do I put my intentionality once I'm like, okay, I'm going to be on Substack. I'm going to be on LinkedIn. I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm using X for this. I'm going to be doing workshops for this. I'm going to be doing the headlines like this. I'm going to, now that I got it, I'm clear. I know how I'm showing up. Okay, cool. Where does my intentionality live so that it doesn't float away on my schedule? So how I use my time, my elephant diet becomes the anchor that holds all of this in the 3D realm. It keeps it connected to the, because if you don't lock this down to a schedule of when you're showing up to do these different aspects of what it is that you're doing now, it's just going to float away. It's never going to be anchored in our 3D reality. And then the way that you anchor that in your body, in your technology, your human technology, is to make sure that every day you're waking up and aligning, meditate, do what you need to do until you get to the point where there's a sense of safety in your nervous system. And I taught a whole bunch of lessons on that. They'll be archived in the dollhouse where they're supposed to be, the dollhouse 2.0. So you can go back and get that, because that's where your capacity is. If your nervous system is freaking out and you're anxious and you're like, oh my God, I'm all over the place and I can't do this, this is too much, and I don't know what to say, like blah, 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 I'm disorganized, blah, blah. Whatever that is, the energy can't take root. So it just keeps floating back to the abstract and floating back to the ether, and it never becomes real in this lived experience. So this is how it shifts your identity. It shifted my identity anyway, to where I can hold this new energy, to be outside, to have all these platforms. I got people hit me on Substack from other side of the world right now. And I was like, oh my God, But no, because I'm here now. Like I'm good. But had I not gone through this process, it's easy to freak out. You say you're gonna do something and then you quit after 2 weeks, kind of thing. So it's important to be very intentional about the inner game of entrepreneurship. Is not just an external thing, it's an inner game.
Okay. Beautiful. We at 4:12. I have two.
I gotta go, child. We gotta go. So if all hearts and minds are clear, I'll see y'all on the next one. We'll be back tomorrow. It won't be this long, but it'll be this good. Until then, I gotta go. We're out. Pew!